Well, hello again. My name is Erin Sinnaeve. I'm a nurse practitioner and member of the JIVINITI Coalition and co-lead investigator for Project GAIA. I'm very excited today to talk to a personal friend of mine, amazing human being, Jacque Salomon. She's the founder of the incredible nonprofit Seeds to Inspire. So I'm going to bring her in. Let's see, there we go. See if I get her. Or there she is. I see you. Oh, awesome. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, Jacque.
Oh, thank you for having me. Thank you so much. It's a beautiful morning.
Is it? Is it beautiful in Arizona?
Yes, it is.
Nice. It's cold here in the Chicago area. Hence my turtleneck. Warm me, dry me all warm. But anyway, but it's okay. I mean, we expect that here. It's November. So
I
anyway.
like sweater weather, so I like sweater weather, and it's kind of transitioning right now, so I'm kind of liking it.
Yes. Okay. Well, that's great. All right. Well, let's just talk a little bit about you and what inspired you to start your foundation, Seeds to Inspire.
Oh, wow. I'll try to say that as succinctly as I can. Seeds to Inspire is really born out of kind of like a culmination of experiences and different injustices that I was fighting in my life with my family to try to just protect my family and try to survive systems that were kind of making us sick and unwell, mind, body, and spirit on all different fronts. And so when I started really getting sick, when we really became really sick as a family, the four of us were all obese. I had type 2 diabetes and I had hypertension. I had restless leg syndrome. I had gastric reflux. I was chronically depressed and anxiety ridden on all different kinds of medications. That was just me. And so it was to the point that my family would travel for a weekend and we'd have to take 2 Ziploc bags. I love telling this story, like 2-gallon-sized bags of medications for the four of us. You know, my children learn differently, so there was a lot of struggles in the school system. So it was like I was fighting all of these different things that were affecting our health. And it just came crashing when my twins it was suggested that they be put on statins.
Oh
And they
my.
were 14 years old. Yeah, and that was the solution. One of my twins had a hole in his heart and was being monitored by a pediatric cardiologist. I mean, this is where we were, that the options were to cut my baby's chest open, put him on statins for his cholesterol, and that was it. And that's when it was, okay, this is insane. We have to find a different way. And it was in that healing that not only did we started understanding that we can take back our own health, and we actually have such authority and agency over our own health, but I could deal with my stress better. I could deal with my depression better. And I was able to confront those injustices from a much better, very cognizant, very conscious way. And we really did well. And when we took all of that information and went back, we said, okay, we need something in the community that can say, okay, you know, you have options. You know, you can do it. You know, you don't have to have this happen to you. And that's why Seeds to Inspire was born, to bring that information and those resources to the community.
Oh my gosh. Such an incredible story. And I feel like I've heard it. I know I've heard it before, but I know every time you talk about that, it just gets me. So I know you're so inspiring. And so you kind of already talked about how your family then went plant-based or vegan, right? And so tell
Yeah.
me about, since going vegan, your family and you know, as far as if you've had any health improvements or how your experience has been since.
Oh my goodness. The first thing that happened was we went whole food plant-based. My poor children, they were 15 at the time. And I said, we're not just going vegan. We went whole food plant-based, no oil, almost overnight. I went and I jumped in, I educated myself, and I was there completely committed to doing what I had to do to make sure my babies were not anywhere close to medically addressing their issues any longer. And within about, I would say, it was less than a year, I would say between 8 and 9 months, we had already collectively lost over 150 pounds. And at the end of that, we had lost 300 pounds as a family. I have reversed my type 2 diabetes. I have reversed my hypertension. I have reversed my gastric reflux. I'm on absolutely no medication. I'm
What?
on no medication. My son, the one that had the hole in his heart, he went back to the cardiologist, who they were monitoring every year to make sure that the hole like never grew, you know, that they wouldn't have to do anything invasive. And not only did it stop growing, they couldn't find it anymore.
Oh
He
my
was
God.
released from the
What?
process because the hole in his heart was completely healed on its own. Because the body knows what she has to do as long as we give her what she needs and stop infiltrating her with toxins and interfering with her healing. They are on no medications. When my sons were diagnosed with ADHD, learning differences, one of my sons has autism, and he's the one that has the hole in his heart. And my children are thriving and healthy. I mean, we as a family just have completely transitioned the way we look at the world, and we've made our relationships healthy. We can talk to one another. There's a trust that's rebuilt. It really is transformative, mind, body, and spirit.
Oh my gosh, that is like incredible. It just shows you the power of food and how, everyone is empowered, when you just take those steps. But gosh, that's an incredible story going back to the cardiologist. I'm sure that I would love to have been a fly on the wall to hear what that cardiologist had to say. Hopefully that person, improved their
Not much, not much.
no, they were probably just shocked.
Pretty much like speechless.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's amazing. And so from all of that personal experience, it sounds like that's where Seeds to Inspire was born. So tell us about some of the things you're doing with your foundation and your experiences related to you being a woman, nonprofit, entrepreneur, and activist of color.
So some of the work that we do in the community is we collaborate with organizations and programs in the community that are already working on healing. We really want to support the resilience that already exists, the medicine that already exists within the communities, to look that these are not just communities that are surviving any longer. They are responding to something. They are seeking something else. And we just go in and say, we have these resources over here. And what we came to understand is that there's two very huge factors that affect our communities: mind, body, and spirit health. And those are the two factors that are not taught in medical school, that are not taught in any of the programs or trainings for medical, behavioral, or mental health. And that is nutrition and trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where we come in and we say, that there are really huge factors that are not being addressed. And we need to, educate ourselves and bring that support to ourselves, because we can re-indigenize our bodies by bringing nutrition back into our bodies and understanding that we are constantly in the aftermath of an onslaught that created a trauma that still exists. And we people in melanated bodies are still living in the aftermath of that colonization. And that our indigeneity is trying so much to thrive within us, that if we go back to the nutrition and we understand the trauma that we live in and that lives inside our bodies, now we can come back and we can start thriving. So we go to programs and organizations that are already working on healing the community, and we do nutrition, education, and trauma-informed resources and support. And we work right now with a program that's working on with our indigenous population here locally. It's a rehabilitation program that's really incorporating Eastern modalities into the healing. So we're supporting them with nutrition and trauma-informed information and support. And we're working with an amazing, amazing organization here in South Phoenix called Ma Wellness Center that, again, is completely committed and devoted to the healing mind, body, and spirit of our melanated communities. And they are just such an amazing organization that's doing acupuncture, massage, tai chi, yoga, drumming. And now we're helping them with the nutrition education and the trauma-informed resources support. So it's really just coming in and saying, we have a particular ingredient for the tincture that you're already creating for healing. How can we support you do that?
Oh my God.
It's so fulfilling, and it's such like my soul work.
Yes.
It really is healing me, supporting them, healing the community.
I love that work. I mean, yeah, you are doing such amazing things. And I love exactly how you do it. You go into the community and you're like, let me support you. What can I do? What do you need? Right? Rather than telling them what they need, you go in there and you're there for them. And it's Ma Wellness, right? That's an
Yes.
amazing. Told me about them before. And, just to speak a little bit to the systems and structures that unfortunately were built to keep people sick, right? I saw just on Friday they're trying to kill us, and they did focus on the indigenous population as well as the Black population, and how these, it's by design to keep them sick, unfortunately, right? And I didn't know if you wanted to speak to that at all, that documentary, and how it really highlighted some of these injustices.
Oh my goodness. The first time when we watched it as a team at Mount Wellness, we watched it together. We would just kind of like speechless, like, how do we get this to the community as soon as possible? Mm-hmm. And I just was teary-eyed because I just wanted to just drop to my knees and say, thank you. Just thank you. Because literally, and I told my sisters, because I made us watch it all again last night. Mm-hmm. I we have to watch it again. So we watched it again. And I told my sister last night, I was like, I feel like they went in our heads. It needs to inspire, and just took everything that we do and the message which we're hoping to convey to our communities, and just put it on the screen. And I was like, this is it. This is it. And just like the now mayor of New York said, we don't want to be played.
Yeah.
And we're being played.
Yep.
And that's the key. When you can show our communities that this is intentional, that you are being used, now we see that resilience come up. Now we see that thrive. And that's, to me, that indigeneity that's like, okay, not again. Yep. You're not doing this to us again. Yep. And that's the message that is in this documentary. That is the message that is saying to our youth, you feel it. I know you feel it. I know you can feel the zeitgeist. I know you understand it. And there's messages in here that you don't know. Mm-hmm. Let me show you some things and teach you a few things, and watch what happens. And that's the power of it. I hope to share it as much as I can. And I encourage everyone to please purchase the documentary and watch it with your families. Encourage them, because they're doing amazing, amazing work.
Yep, they're trying to kill us. I know Badass Vegan, at Badass Vegan is the producers. And I mean, it was just, I kept getting chills. I got chills with you just talking about it, actually. And it's so important, very, very important documentary. So anyway, and just to talk on COVID for a second, again, COVID-19 and nutrition, we're seeing a little bit of research come out, but we know it's not, unfortunately, representative of everyone, and especially those communities that have been disproportionately affected, like Indigenous people and Black communities and Latinx communities, and leaving them out of research and surveys, and that, of course, defeats the purpose, right, of the research. And so I know you have been a staunch supporter of our project GAIA, focusing on as a public health research, trying to look at the impact of nutrition on COVID-19, because there's so many unanswered questions, especially in our BIPOC communities. So tell us why you're supporting the project, and why it's important for people to participate in this type of research.
It is in our history as colonized people to have a distrust for medicine, to have a distrust. And I think that that's really why we're not included in the surveys, because they don't want to know the answer. Mm. It's intentional. They don't want to know the answers. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of participating in this project is an opportunity for us as melanated people, we that identify as Black, Indigenous, racialized people, to participate in something that says, no, we will be heard. You are going to understand how this affects us. I know you don't want to know it, but you are, because there's people like us that are finally working with us and saying, no, you deserve to be heard. You need to be heard, especially our Indigenous populations that still carry the wisdom of our ancestors flowing through us, that still carry that knowledge and that connection of healing that can completely transform the direction of humanity on this planet, that can completely transform how we engage Earth, how we engage our home, how we engage each other and our non-human companions on this planet. These are our brothers and sisters. So if we are not taking the voice of those caretakers of this land, the people that are not from this land, they are this land, they speak for her. If we are not talking to them and making sure that we understand what is happening to them, in my opinion, we are doomed. So it is imperative that we people that identify as indigenous, in my body, I have indigeneity from the west coast of Africa and the Caribbean and the island of Puerto Rico. I have that indigeneity in me that says, you know what, I've lived enough in a colonized world. Now you're going to understand what this has done to me. You're going to understand, and I'm going to have a voice. My indigeneity gets to speak and gets to be seen and gets to be taken into account, because that's what's going to transform us. So it is imperative that we all take the survey, especially those of us in melanated bodies. Please participate in this survey. Give us your voice. Please spread that knowledge, because it is all about education. Education, education, education for our communities. And we give them the right information that comes from them, we will shift, because we all want to be our best.
Gosh, that's like the best answer. Like I am just always moved by your words and how you have that ability to really reach people. So thank you for that, Jackie. And I know that go to your link in your or in your bio, as well as mine, Jiviniti. Anyway, well, I'll just ask one more question. If you could give one piece of advice to someone newly on their journey to wellness, what would that piece of advice be?
Behavioral changes are very, very, very difficult. Be very compassionate with yourself. Do not judge yourself. Love yourself enough to make these changes and choices that are going to be very uncomfortable, are not going to be very popular sometimes, especially in our communities, but do it for ourselves and do it for our families and do it for our communities. It is essential that we get healthy. It's essential that we start healing. And this is one step towards that, but it is an incredible step that's going to do so much for all of the suffering. So please just be kind, seek support, be there, love one another, love yourself enough to do this. And I promise you that together we can heal.
I love that. I love that. Well, I know everyone needs to follow you at Seeds to Inspire. Any place else that they can find you?
LinkedIn, I have my LinkedIn profile, personally, Jacque Salomon, and the Seeds to Inspire. On Facebook, I also have Jacque Salomon and Seeds to Inspire, and then our Instagram here.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Jackie.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time. And thank you so much again for your support of Project Gaia and for all you're doing for so many people.
I want to thank you, my sister Erin, for doing what you do and being who you be. And I'm grateful to have helped you bring this to fruition. And I'm honored to be your friend. Thank you.
All right. Well, you have a great rest of your day, and we'll be.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, bye.